What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is TishaTheBrave. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing okay. Today I'm here to talk about the full moon in Libra, but also I just wanted to say that I have a Patreon account where you can see weekly moon cycles if you support me on there, and also weekly numerology forecasts for those days during the week. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely check out patreon.com/TishaTheBrave and you'll be able to gain access to those videos if you support me on there. Alright? So, on Saturday the 16th of April 2022, we have a full moon in Libra, and I'm going to go into the overall message and some of the energies that will be happening on that day, and also I'm going to go into your individual signs, so make sure you look out for that, and don't forget to check out your rising sign and your sun sign, okay? Whenever there's a full moon, it usually means there's an opposition of the sun, okay? So the full moon is in Libra, but the sun is also in Aries. But what's also interesting during this time is that the sun is also conjuncting Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is an asteroid, and that basically is a position of what we call the wounded healer. So if you have a Chiron in a certain sign, it just means that there is something there that you're going to have to learn to overcome, basically, okay? So if Chiron is in Aries on the 16th, it basically just means that there is issues within your identity, within the way that you present yourself, right? So if this is opposing the moon in Libra, maybe we are not in the position where we feel 100% comfortable in our relationships. Maybe we're holding ourselves back from our relationships because Libra governs relationships and everything shared. So relationships do not have to mean a romantic relationship. It can mean a platonic relationship. It can mean a relationship with your business partner. It could be a relationship with a parent. It's just relationships just across the board. So what I'm going to bring to you today in the individual signs and the houses is what relationships we could be having problems in, okay? A couple of things that I find very interesting on this day, just generally right off the bat. Mars in Pisces is sextiling Mercury in Taurus. So our energy may be on the verge of being like slower to react in terms of physical energy, which is good, especially if we're thinking about relationships. So this is a harmonious aspect. We don't want to rush in our physical energy to go ahead and do something. And I know it's the full moon and oftentimes we're told to like do stuff about our energy, but this is a good chance to think about what we're doing before we start doing it. I don't feel like we always have to be in the headspace of just rushing into things, especially me being a Taurus moon. I feel like we have to think about things before we do something. So give yourself a bit of time before we use this energy, because this is what the aspects are telling us, to just think about things before we do it. Like, think about it a lot. Go in depth, especially if we're talking about relationships. So we have Venus in Pisces conjuncting Mars in Pisces. You may be in like the mood to kind of like cater and give your everything to someone right now, especially those who are in romantic relationships. But you have to be mindful of the behavior that you have been kind of like enabling to the other person. And again, I'm talking to especially those self-sacrifices. If you are a person that's continuously like giving your all, 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 and it's not reciprocated, you're gonna be exhausted. This energy is literally like, it wants you to kind of like do all of this stuff. Maybe you're a person who's not a self-sacrificer, who needs to show more love to the other people, but to the people who are on the opposing side, who do give your everything, who do give their everything to everyone, you have to be mindful of what you're doing. It's a good thing that you have Mars and Pisces also sextiling Mercury and Taurus, because for you guys, you need to think about stuff before you do it. Is this person worth all of your time? Is this person worth all of your energy? And for those of you who are not showing much love in a physical way, then it's time for you to do that in a physical way, okay? Take what you need to hear. Take what you need to hear, because you know deep down inside which person you are. And one thing I actually forgot to film and came back for is that Jupiter and Neptune are going to be conjunct in Pisces. Jupiter being about expansion, about learning philosophy, higher wisdom, just blessings and fortune. And then we have Neptune being about dreams and spirituality. This is a great time to manifest. Jupiter is the old ruler of Pisces. Jupiter is exalted in Pisces, and then you have Neptune, which is the ruler of Pisces right now. This is a great moment for you to manifest, to learn the ways of what you exactly that you want, because Jupiter's about expansion. So this is a great moment to actually think about what you want, think about your desire, and learn about it. So for example, if you want to be a top-notch astrologer, time for you to like dive into learning into astrology. If you want to be into like if you want to create your own products, time for you to start researching about those things, because this is the moment where you can actually make your manifestations come true. So this is a great moment. This is a dreamy aspect. This is an aspect where you believe that everything you set out is going to be visualized and it's going to come to fruition. So take this opportunity right now, especially as we're going to transition into Taurus season real soon. Take this opportunity to learn and do what you need to do, and then apply that hard work when it hits Taurus sun, when it hits Taurus season, because that's going to be the moment where you can actually work through it and organize your way through it and then gain some money from it. Take advantage of this conjunction. It's very important that you take advantage of this conjunction. Other thing that I found interesting was the moon in Libra is also trining Saturn in Aquarius. So Saturn is about the long-term, is about long-term goals. So this position is helping us understand, like, to see the bigger picture in our relationships. So where is this relationship going? Are we friends? At the base of every good relationship should be a good friendship. And since it's Saturn and Aquarius goes friendship, I was thinking this is a good time to think about that. What are the base of our relationships? What is the bigger picture in this relationship? And again, this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be any relationship that you have, period. Regardless of what type of relationship it is. Okay, so before I get into the individual signs and the things like that, I also do want to mention the numerology of the day. The numerology of the day is 8. 8 is the powerhouse. 8 is the person who has everything under control. And now, because the energy is 8, I want to talk about how we can stand up for the things that we need to stand up for, being ourselves 100%, asserting ourselves and being aggressive when need to. And when I say aggressive, I mean like just you know, letting other people hear out what you have to say. It doesn't have to get violent, but like what I'm trying to say is that where you need to stand up for yourself. If it's time for you to stand up for yourself, it's time for you to stand up for yourself. But you also, 8 is about putting yourself first. I don't know any life path 8 who isn't a person who doesn't stand up for themselves. You will know a life path 8 when you see one. They are very much about being the center of attention. They're very much about like asserting their energy, being in charge. So this is exactly what you have to do on this full moon. You have to take charge of your own relationships, okay? Libras, you guys are in house 1 of independency, identity, and energy. Are you being 100% of yourself in your relationships, or are you still shy about some parts of you? See, a lot of Libras are life path 2s, like, and a lot of the time they have this tendency to mold themselves to the other person, making themselves just like the other person. You guys tend to be one person, and what you need to understand is that you need to be very much the individual. It's about 2 individuals coming together as a whole, and what you want to do is be able to know and understand yourself, understand exactly what it is, who you are, and allow yourself to be 100% in your relationships. Some of you guys may be shy to be silly, or shy to like wear certain things or whatever it is, and you may have these insecurities. The day is in 8, and I need you guys to like think about your individuality and what you're bringing as an individual. So your task for this full moon is to basically just show 100% of yourself in the way that you feel may be awkward, in the way that you feel may be like awkward to you but not awkward to everybody else. Maybe it's time for you to wear the clothing you've always wanted to wear, but you know, you were too shy to kind of like bring it out. Generally speaking, just be yourself and see what happens. If that person cannot handle you being 100% yourself, then there is no bigger picture with this person. Honestly speaking, you need to be able to be 100% of yourself. Scorpios, you guys are in house 12 of spirituality, healing, and closures. Are you being 100% of yourself when it comes to your spiritual relationship between you and the creator? So we could often be ashamed and emotional about the fact that we are being led away from something, because maybe we've been brought up in something our whole lives, or we've been doing something our whole lives, and now you're just like, ooh, this actually isn't for me. But there's a part of you that may not want to let go of that, especially because you guys are a fixed sign. You guys tend to hold on with your little claws. You guys hold on with your claws to a lot of things, and you need to understand to like let go of what is no longer a part of you, and you know it's no longer a part of you. Maybe you're not outwardly expressing what you need from the creator, what you need from the divine, and that is also holding you back. So I would say, like, during this time, it's time for you to maybe just outwardly say what you need to say. you know, source knows exactly what you want and what you need. I think saying it is what's going to make the difference. So that's what my intuition is telling me, and that's what I'm going to tell you guys today. I feel that's what you need to hear. Sagittarius, you guys are in house 11 of friendships and the future. So are you being realistic about your relationship with the future? You guys are like known to run away when things get really difficult sometimes, and because of that mutability, your ideas that you have tend to switch up a lot because you're just interested in a million things, and it's in like everything is interesting to you because, you know, you guys govern philosophy, higher education, everything is a learning curve for you, which is great. It's fine that you guys like to learn, but we need to figure out the foundations of your future and your next future steps, you know, because house 11 is about the future, and you need to figure out the bigger picture of what it is that you exactly want. You can still be mutable. You can still have a lot of things that you want to do, but you need to find stability in something. You do need to find stability in something. You tend to have a weak relationship with the future because right now you're always about living in the moment and having fun, but you also need to find some grounding points. You need to like pitch a tent somewhere, like put your mark somewhere, because you need to figure it out, because otherwise if you're not prepared, you're gonna be flopping about and you'll be very unfulfilled. Okay, all right, Capricorn, you guys are in house 10 of your own house of fame, career, long-term goals. Are you being realistic about your relationship with your long-term goals? I think Capricorns in general always have like about 20-30 goals that they want to achieve in life or whatever, and it's just such a long process for you to think that you can actually achieve a million of these things. You would be just as successful if you had one goal achieved and you had X amount of whatever money coming from that goal. I know that's how you think. I know you want like 6 or 7 like incomes or whatever. That's great. It's achievable. What I want you to do is not just think about your goals, but also think about how you're going to spend your time with your freedom. The other relationship you need to work on with is time. How are you going to spend your time? You're thinking about literally slotting up every moment of your time with building and building and building and building your goals. But what about your family? What about vacation time? What about relaxation time? It's okay that you want to have goals, but also be realistic about how you're going to spend time just relaxing, because you don't have a good issue. You don't have good relationships with relaxing. You feel like that's not a good thing to be realistic about that, because you could achieve goals, but you can also achieve like a happier, healthier life. Okay, Aquariuses, you guys are in house 9. What is your relationship with your own cultural background? Are you the one who's fully connected to that part of yourself? Like, what I want you to do is think about how you're fully connecting to your own roots. Okay, now there are some people here who are Aquariuses that are connected to their roots. That's great, but even if you are, what I want you to do is maybe ask the people around you, maybe ask your friends, your family, whoever are part of your culture, to really give you insight on your culture and your knowledge. There may be something there, especially in this full moon, where you can gain something. I also want to talk about, like, if you guys have children, if you guys have families that you're constantly around, this is a good time to educate them on their cultural history, their cultural background. But get in tune, get in touch, you know, taste the food, play the music, whatever it is. I think your relationship with your culture is something that you need to be very spiritually connected to right now. Remember, the sun is in Aries, and Aries is about identity. A huge part that people identify with is in their culture. So please get in tune with your culture. Make sure you're submerging yourself in your knowledge, in your wisdom. Make sure you're submerging yourself in the history, in the culture, and think about those traditions. Think about those traditions and think about passing them on to the generation after you. Pisces, you guys are in house 8 or shared finances, day of sex, etc. Do you have a good relationship with yourself? And do you have just a generally good sexual relationship anyway? So for those of you who are single, this is a great time for you to work on that sacral chakra, to work on how you're creating through the sense of yourself, and also how you are attracted to yourself, because a lot of the time people may struggle with their insecurities and they do not look at themselves as a beautiful being that is being created through the divine and also created through the genetics to make sure that you look like you have certain features from certain backgrounds. And you know, there's a whole thing to why you're born, to why you should be attracted to yourself. And maybe you didn't see yourself growing up on TV. These are things that you may have been against you, but you need to have a good relationship with yourself. For those of you who are in relationships, romantic relationships, or just sexual platonic relationships in general, maybe you need to have a conversation about your sex life. Maybe it's something that's not satisfying. Maybe it's something that your kinks are not aligning with the other person. Maybe this person is making you feel uncomfortable with positions you're not comfortable in. All of these things may be coming up around this time, but Spirit was very much urging me to talk about sex here. So if you guys are uncomfortable, or maybe you need to have a chat about you and yourself and the other person, then maybe it is time to have the difficult conversation, because it would be more beneficial to you if you were comfortable than uncomfortable. Okay, you don't want to be in relationships that are uncomfortable, especially one with yourself. You don't want that. Okay, Aries, you guys are in house 7 of relationships, business, partnerships, just basically everything shared. So are you allowing yourself to be fully vulnerable in relationships, just generally? We already know, as an Aries person, you could be somebody who's very independent, very much about like making sure that you're all good, which is fine. A lot of people kind of need that energy, but there's also a part of you that doesn't like to be vulnerable because it's not within your nature to feel weak. You guys are, you know, you guys are run by Mars. Mars is like, you know, the war god, you know. So it's something that you don't like to feel like you're weak. You don't like to feel like you're vulnerable. You don't like to feel like you have all of these sad emotions. But this is the thing. When you're in a partnership, you're supposed to communicate your problems, communicate your sadness, communicate your emotions to the other person. The other person has to be let in. So are you being 100% of yourself when you're with this person in the relationship that you're in? And again, this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be a platonic relationship. It could be any type of relationship. But are you allowing yourself to be 100% vulnerable? You need to allow yourself to be vulnerable. You do, even when it comes to you versus you. Sometimes you just don't want to cry. Sometimes you don't want to let it out. But just with you, even it starts with you, and then it moves on to the other people when you're comfortable. But start being vulnerable to yourself. Start admitting that you're feeling these feelings, because it doesn't do you any justice to just sit there by yourself and to not like go through the emotion. And what it does is that it harbors into your anger, and then it just comes out in a negative way. And you don't want to do that, especially if you're actively working on being better. Taurus is, you guys, on house 6 of health. So do you have a good relationship with your health? It's like no secret that you guys love to eat. You know, Tauruses love food. I know I'm a Taurus moon. I'm the same way. Are you taking your fruits, your veggies, and your vitamins and minerals every single day? You have to start incorporating good things that balance out your health. Not to say that all Tauruses are unhealthy. That's not true. I know loads of Tauruses who also, like, you know, work out on a regular basis. It's not about that. I'm just trying to, and I'm not trying to make fun of you guys either. I would never do that to my own kin, to my own people. But just generally speaking, it's time for you to really take into consideration your health, because when you're on that emotional roller coaster, when you're in that space, it could be a thing where you get addicted to foods. It could be addicted to drink. Could be addicted to whatever it is. You guys are ran by Venus. It's all about pleasure and desire, right? So just generally speaking, have you got a good relationship with the food? And are you in a way where you're using food as fuel and not like food as just, you know, your everyday pleasures and desires? Not to say there's anything wrong with that in moderation, but just generally speaking, start thinking about how you can implement some of your healthy lifestyles into your life. Schedule it in, organize it in. You guys are good at that, organizing and scheduling. So make sure you guys are doing that so that it doesn't hit you back later on. Geminis, you guys are in house 5 of creativity, romance, and education. Are you being realistic about your education? Geminis, you guys are like the communicative people. You guys know so much information that comes from here and there and stuff like that. You're constantly learning through other people, through your social life, but also through like your YouTube videos, whatever it is. You guys like to learn. But the thing is, you guys are supposed to learn to teach others, okay? So what are you holding back on? Is there something that you need to tell somebody just intuitively and also instinctively? I think what Source is telling me right now, and what Spirit is telling me right now, is that basically you're holding back on information that you're supposed to be giving to other people. And I feel like you need to start teaching somebody something, but you're holding it back. And the joke is that you're born for this role, but
there is some sort of insecurity there that you're just not allowing yourself to do. Maybe you're getting the message loud and clear, loud and clear. It could come through your, it's coming through your dreams, it's coming through your you know, it's coming through your dreams, it's coming through your intuition. It's like directly there, but you're not saying it. And do not hold back on the information and the education that you have been learning for yourself, right? You need to give it out. And maybe it's not a thing where you're giving it out to an individual. Maybe you have to pick a platform. Pick a platform. Pick a platform. Start saying what you need to be saying, because that's exactly who you're supposed to be. Okay, Gemini? Cancers, you guys in house 4 of family, private life, femininity. So are you being 100% of yourself when it comes to your family? Are you good around your mom, like your mother? This is house 4. House 4 governs like motherhood. So are you being 100% around yourself? Are you being 100% of yourself around your mother? Is there something that you need to say to get off your chest, that you need to just say to your mother? Are you also allowing yourself to be 100% around just your parents generally? Are you being 100% around your parents? Also, if you're a mother, are you being 100% of yourself around your kids? Or if you're a parent that has that divine feminine quality that the Cancers have, are you being 100% around yourself with the kids? They know when you're faking, they know when you're acting, and sometimes you're being too much of the protector versus like their silly goofy side of their mother that they need to see, or the silly goofy side of parenthood that they need to see. They need to see a full spectrum. What I'm trying to say is allow yourself to be the rounded parent. Allow yourself to be the rounded parent. And for those of you who are Cancers who are not parents, allow yourself to be the rounded individual. Allow yourself to be the rounded individual around your family. There are people who are looking at you for help, for guidance. I grew up in a very, 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 very Christian household. Now that I've allowed myself to be the person that I am right now, my family take note of that, and now they are asking me questions about my lifestyle, the way I choose to live my life, and a lot of them are breaking away from something that they're not comfortable with. That is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Allowing yourself to be the emotional, the vulnerable, the well-rounded individual around your family, because oftentimes they need you more than you think. And to be a Cancer means that you are serving everybody, especially your family. So that's something to think about. Leos, you guys are in house 3 of communication, siblings, neighbors, and social activity and early education. Are you being 100% of yourself when it comes to your social life? So this is the thing, Leos. I feel like a lot of the times you are thinking about the situation that you are in regards to like in regards to maybe like a friendship squabble or something like that. And you're being smarter about how you're trying to navigate the situation, and you don't need to be smart in every single flipping situation. You just need to be real. And not to say that you're not going to be real. Your problem is that you keep trying to figure out how shit's supposed to be done, and you're just supposed to be just feeling it out instead of like trying to logically break something down. So whenever you're going through a problem with your relationships, I want you to also think about the fact that you don't have to logically break everything down. You just need to talk about how you're feeling, because Leos are explosive, and the reason they're explosive is because they are a person that's a fixed sign. So you being a fixed sign means that you are very stubborn sometimes, and that you don't want to get out of your way to do something. You're also thinking about how you can logically break something down. It's time for you to stop logically breaking something down and start getting to the heart of the matter, okay? This is the reason why you have a weak heart chakra, because you do not allow yourself to kind of like just go with your heart's desire, your emotion. You kind of just get explosive because in the end you just can't take it anymore. So stop breaking things down logically, especially in your social activities and your social life. Like, just get to the heart of the matter. If something is bothering you, just say what is bothering you in a way that isn't explosive. So work on the throat chakra as well, and just get to the point where you're just like, all right, so maybe I'm having issues with my neighbors or this or that. I need to just start talking about it and start just trying to figure it out. Like, let me just start talking about it. Let me just get to the heart of the matter rather than do the whole logical breakdown thing.
That's what I need you to do, Leos. Virgos, you guys are in house 2 of money, income, and material possessions. Are you being realistic about your expenses? Maybe you're being a little too realistic about your expenses. Virgos are people that will prepare for any type of war, any type of weather, any type of this, any type of that. So maybe you guys have stuff in the bank, savings that are like as long as your whole body is, okay? This is the thing, guys. Yes, it's great to prepare for anything that is going to potentially happen to you. Of course, it's great to prepare for those things. But what you also need to think about is also how you're going to live your life. How you're going to, like, sometimes just spend on yourself and allow yourself to just have the things that you want. So there could be the Virgos that are like saving for a long time, or maybe the Virgos that are spending a little bit too much. It depends on your natal chart and how you function. But what I want to talk about is having a good relationship with money. Sometimes it's not always about saving every single penny. Sometimes it's about also spending some money for yourself and having something that you want. You're a person that gives a lot of service to other people. Maybe you're sharing your money a bit too much with other people. Maybe it's time for you to spend some money for yourself. Or on the flip side, maybe you're spending a little bit too much money on yourself, and maybe you need to learn how to save and be responsible for the money that you do have. Either way, you need a good relationship with money. You need a balance between saving and spending. And you need to be able to understand that both is okay. Both of those is okay. But just make sure that you're doing it in a way where you're happy about having something for yourself, but also happy about saving for a rainy day, okay? So guys, that is me. Thank you guys for listening, and don't forget to check out all my other social media, which will be in the description box down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye bye.